Hey, good evening. My name is Hugh, and just wanted to share a couple thoughts with you concerning some things that just have been going on in my life, and maybe this is going to help you a little bit. Also, it's been helping me just to think about these two issues I've been dealing with in a certain way. And the things I've been dealing with and want to talk to you about are two words, and the words are usually mutually exclusive. They are fear and trust. And probably the best way to talk about fear is to explain it in a way that somebody else has already done that. And I heard a quote in a movie several years ago by none other than Will Smith, aka the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's right. I wonder if I could just read this to you. It says, "The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. Do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice." And I don't really think that we need to dive into that too awful deep, but hold on to it because we're going to kind of try to tie the next word into that. And the next word is trust. And trust is an interesting word because usually we think about that word in a historical context, meaning that usually in order to use that word, we have history with someone or a group or an individual, and that somehow they have done things that are trustworthy and consistent in a way that we give them our trust. Trust is not usually just given to somebody, it's usually earned. So maybe the best way to talk about trust is if we look at this from like an individual perspective. And so I know this number is going to blow you away. So I have been alive 20,192 days as of today. And I tried to think back about how many times in those 20,192 days that God has let me down in some way. And I came to the conclusion that I could count those ways that he's done that on one hand. None. He's never let me down in 20,192 days. And I challenge you to think about your life. And if you want to figure out how many days you've been alive, that's great. For some of you, that won't be that hard. For some of you, that you're going to need a slide rule or something like that, maybe an abacus. But maybe do that and then think back on your life and think, how many times has God let you down in all the days that you've been alive? And so how do we kind of tie those two things in? Well, because in 20,192 days, I've never been let down with God. I have this relationship with him. I have a history with God. He has proven himself worthy and he's proven himself trustworthy, even when I haven't. So I would like to think about us that we have a choice. We can trust in somebody, our Savior, who has never, ever let us down, or we could trust in fear, which is a choice also. But fear is based on things that may happen and probably aren't going to happen. So I've been thinking about this for the last couple months, and in fact, it's been weighing on me a little bit, especially with all the pandemic stuff. But I come to the conclusion that I should, and you also, should probably go with the known, the history, and the person that has consistently shown to be trustworthy in our life.